silver that keeps going up in value. And so the thing is, this has been significant for me. It's been significant for me, and I'm grateful to be a part of 7K. I'm grateful to work with people like Sally Mary and Joe and Tony Hubbard. Some of my best friends are right here at 7K. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Tony. Hopefully I shared a little bit of insight on what you can do here at 7K. If you just put the time in, if you just put the effort in, you can create a substantial income and then also create an asset. So back to you, my friend.
All right, Mr. Ladden, man, as always, it's such a pleasure to get a chance to hear your testimony, man. Out there, doing something for the country as well, and taking care of emergencies. So hats off to you, my brother. I look forward to your future success, man, and seeing you in the next few weeks and stuff. Because again, one of my best friends on the planet that I met here about 7 years ago here at 7K Metals. And for those of you who believe in the adage that if you didn't come from a wealthy family, then it is your responsibility to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you. And you want to set your sights on these last three positions of gold, executive, and presidential level, because at those levels, individuals are earning up to $7,000, $10,000, up to $12,500 on a weekly basis. And for those of you who think you got invited way too late to the party, why didn't Chris call me earlier? Why didn't Sally Mary call me earlier? Why didn't Yuri call me earlier? I want you to relax. Because although our company now is a little over 7 years old, and we did over 100 million last year and more than that this year, and with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau out of just 8 countries around the world, we've only been blessed now to earn up to $50,000 a month for the last few years. Right now, there's nearly 100 people that have reached the rank of gold. 19 of us have become executive gold, and there's only 3 presidential golds in this entire company. So there is plenty of room at the top. I look forward to seeing those numbers double, triple, and even quadruple in the next few years, because when you look at everything 7K Metals has to offer, we are by far the best kept secret in all of the network marketing space. So just ask yourself, can I really make the kind of money you guys are talking about? Can I really build that passive residual income and have it done? And one thing you're going to find out that we have one of the most lucrative compensation plans in the industry. And because our residual is based upon how many people are getting those collectible coins every month that they absolutely love, it's like having Christmas come every single week, every single month. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be amazed what just a few hundred people can do for your residual income. See, I've been a part of companies that in order for you to get $5,000 a month residual that can't stop at money, in order for that to happen, you had to have about 5,000 people on your team. To have 10,000 or 20,000 a month, you have to have that same amount of people. But I want you to imagine, ladies and gentlemen, what would happen. Let's just say you took this thing and you put a little effort into it, 10 hours a week, over the next 6 months, and we've helped a ton of people do this, and you have at least 200 people on your team. 100 on both sides buying 1 coin a month. Ladies and gentlemen, did you not know that's $1,500 to $2,000 a month every month, whether you get out of your bed or not? But what if I build it real strong, like a Madiba Thompson or like a Yuri Melendez, and after 6 months, I have over 1,000 people on my team? What can my residual look like? I don't know. Look at the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. With just 1,000 people on your team, that's $7,500 to $10,000 a month if you're at silver or higher, and these guys are at gold and executive gold every single month, whether you get out of your bed or not. Now, residual is your for show money. That's what happens after you build something significant, after 6 months, a year, or several years. But your right now money is based upon you building a team and how many people come on board. And ladies and gentlemen, that right now money, no matter what they come in with, it's going to be right now commissions where you can start earning weekly. I've been on board for a little over 7 years. I've earned a commission check every single week for the last 7 years before my residual was ever built up to where, there are many people that have 10,000 a month residual just based on people buying coins. There are many people that have 20,000 a month residual based upon the amount of people on their team that are buying coins. But before you get to that point, you can earn while you learn by just helping to grow a team. So people say, you know what, I want to be a part of that. But in order to be a part of an exclusive club, to be able to buy gold and silver bullion and member direct pricing and have access to some of the coolest coins on the planet, this got to start at $1,000 to as much as $2,000. And people are pleasantly surprised to find out you can be a part of what we're doing for as little as $269 a year. Not a month, a year. And here's what you're going to receive. For an entire year, you'll get gold and silver bullion at member direct pricing, access to some of the coolest collectible coins. Because it's a home-based business, get with your tax professional, but there are some tax benefits because it's a home-based business. In addition to that, you'll have access to our healthcare program, the whole 9 yards, as there's a savings program that comes along with it. And one of the things we want to highlight, you have unlimited access to what is called stack and sell. So if you ever need to liquidate your coin and get the most bang for the buck, imagine we partnered up with a company that's like an independent auction house that protects the buyer and the seller, where individuals, I had 2 people on my team last year that were able to earn up to $60,000 by just buying coins 1 month and then flipping them the very next month on that platform, and you'll have unlimited access at the 269 level. In addition to that, if you're uncomfortable with keeping a certain amount of gold and silver at your home, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, part of your subscription allows you to be able to store up to $50,000 worth of gold and silver, eagles and bullion in our private vault for free with your name on it. So, I mean, when you look at all the benefits, it's nearly $1,000 worth of value. But for $269 a year, you, my friend, are in the game. But for those of you like myself who believe in going all the way, getting all the whistles and the buttons, ladies and gentlemen, we have a legacy VIP subscription that is second to none in this industry. For the first time in our history, ladies and gentlemen, we have a subscription. You don't have to pay every other year. I mean, every 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. For $5.99 one time, you have a lifetime subscription to what I call the country club of 7K medals. For $5.99 a year, think about it. We're going to start off your collection with a collectible coin. In addition to that, there's a buyer certification, there's a collector's training that comes along with it. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have access to everything that comes along with the VIP subscription package, ladies and gentlemen. Also, one of the benefits of that is that only with our legacy VIP subscription will you be able to, for the first time in our lifetime, we've always asked the co-founders of the company this question. Say, one of the benefits of having the membership with us, you're getting bullion at member direct pricing, and you're introducing people that get it at member direct pricing. I've seen people, when they sell a house, put $50,000 in the gold and silver. I've seen people liquidate, some real estate and put $250,000. And last year I had a guy on my team that bought $1.2 million worth of silver. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, they will allow you to get a legacy of VIP metal bonus that every time someone you introduce buys any kind of silver or gold, I don't care if it's $2,000 worth, our company will pay you a percentage of that in that particular metal. Now, this program would have been in place over the last 3 years. They told us, ladies and gentlemen, that would have been over a dozen people that would have received over $20,000 worth of free silver and gold. If this would have been in place over the last 3 years, that would have been over 400 people, that, and myself included, that would have received over $1,000 worth of free silver and gold. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, as much as I love getting gold and silver bullion at member direct pricing, it's a whole lot better when you can get it for free. So just wrapping everything up, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. I mean, can I really build a passive residual income and do both of the things on the right side of that quadrant? The answer is absolutely yes. Why? Because we're going to help you. We're going to show you every step of the way how to build a phenomenal business. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. What will come along with this? Remember, you talked about your reasons, and we all have our different reasons on why we need to make money with this company. Here's what I want you to understand. There is a system in place that allows you. I mean, we have over, nearly 30 different videos that will come with your package, and we will teach you how to build a business like a professional. And every single Saturday, and you're on the deal right now, in just a few minutes, we will break, ladies and gentlemen, you'll get a chance to get training from individuals that have made tens of thousands of dollars and are currently making that kind of money in our company. So we're going to show you step for step, word for word, what you need to do. There is no selling necessary. We're going to show you how to get paid for what you've already been doing for free over the years. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever referred someone to a good movie, to a good restaurant, or to your own mechanic. Now we're going to show you how to just simply do the exact same thing, but now you're going to get paid for that. In addition to that, you're going to not need to explain. We're going to show you how to utilize the system. And we just wrapped up a 30-day blitz. But now, Monday through Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and Saturday morning at 1 p.m. Eastern, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you how to build a business. And there's a support system in place that will allow you to make that happen. In addition to that, if you're on here today, Legacy Builders is the largest organization in all of 7K, where there are hundreds of mentors. Some of them are on this call right now that will take you by the hand, step for step, word for word, on how to build a business. And one of the things I love about this business from day one, without fail, ladies and gentlemen, is that very rarely do you come across an opportunity where there's a win-win-win scenario and nobody gets hurt and there is no buyer's remorse. What do I mean by that? See, I've never gotten a phone call after I introduced someone to the business 1 year later, and they're upset because I introduced them to the business when they pull open their kitchen drawer and see several $1,000s worth of assets, no buyer's remorse. I've never gotten a phone call now in 7 years where someone like a Chris Ladden would call me and say, man, why did you encourage me to keep going when he can go to his private safe and see hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gold and silver because he decided to make that decision? There is no buyer's remorse. Nobody gets hurt. It is a win-win-win scenario. So to wrap up everything today, ladies and gentlemen, right now the ball is in your court. And you got to ask yourself the question, where do you stand? And without fail, every time I share this information, individuals always fall into one of three categories. And yes, ma'am, yes, sir, you're on here today. Person number one, say, you know what? I like what I hear. I'm really not to that networking thing you guys have been talking about, but I have been looking for a place to just buy gold and silver. And if I'm going to get it, might as well get it at the best price. I say, great. Get back with the person, invite you to the Zoom. Let them know you're number one. You got 269 and you're ready to start stacking gold and silver from your own free website starting today. Person number two, you like thousands of our associates that say, you know what? I think it's cool to buy gold and silver. I think it's a beautiful thing to get collectible coin. But with real inflation being closer to about 10%, and I've never approached a 10% raise on my job, so that tells me I'm falling behind every year, my household could use an extra $1,000 a month. You have no idea what an extra $2,000 would do for my household every single month. I say, great. Get back with the person inviting you to the Zoom. Let them know you're number two. You got 269, or better yet, you got 599, and you're ready to start stacking and making some money. But if you're like I was guy number three. When I found out I could make up to $50,000 a month with a product that made sense, this quickly became a no-brainer to me. You see, being a student of this industry, here is what I knew to be true. There are thousands of companies out there in the network marketing space. They all make money, but they don't all necessarily make sense. And here's what I mean by that. You see, it never made sense to me to pay 5 to 10 times the price for a product or service that I could literally go to Walmart, Sam's Club, same ingredients for a fraction of the cost. That just never made sense to me. But you know what has always made sense? Having 100-ounce silver bars showing up in your mailbox. What about 1-ounce collectible gold coins worth about $2,900, or better yet, to get access to some coins you can't get anywhere else? And one of my favorite, and we're coming up on the 81st anniversary of it, 82nd anniversary of it, and this is the USS Arizona, the Pearl Harbor coin. That's only, 1,177 of them in the world, which is the same amount of people that's still entombed in the boat. To be able to get coins like this and to be able to make up to $50,000 a month, that made sense to me. So do me a favor today, put a 3 in the chat if the information you've heard so far just makes sense. All right, we're gonna stop sharing right now. We're gonna open up the floor for Q&A. But before we do that, here's what I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Put a 2 in the chat if either you or somebody you know became successful because they were simply at the right place. It was the right time, and they just made the decision. Put a 2 in the chat if that happened to you or maybe somebody you know. Well, here's the ironic thing about that. Most of the time you're there, you don't know it. And let me just give you a couple examples. See, about 45 years ago, there were 2 nerdy guys that dropped out of Harvard because they answered an ad that would pay an insane amount of money if they just found a way to make 2 computers talk. Now, people laughed at them when they went out there in New Mexico Valley. But how many know nobody's laughing at Bill Gates or Paul Allen today? Now, I'm 59 years old, so I was around back then. But you know what? I didn't get that phone call. Well, let's talk about something more relevant. How about 19 years ago, there was another nerdy guy that invited 5 people to a dorm room to talk about a social media experiment, and not everybody had the audacity to show up. Put a 2 in the chat if you ever invited somebody to something you knew could change their life, and they didn't even have the decency to show up. Okay, maybe I'm the only one that people no show, all right? Well, the 2 guys that did bother to show up, I looked it up the other day. One is worth $20 billion. The other one is worth $25 billion. Guess what? If you're on here today, all of us was around back then. But I'm pretty sure none of us got that phone call. Well, if you're a guest on here today, somebody respected you enough and somebody loved you enough to give you that phone call. And mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want you to understand. I'm going to say this as humbly as I possibly can. 7K Mellors is not on trial here. We're past 7 years old. We did over 100 million in revenue last year alone without you being involved. In the next 3 to 5 years, mark my words, 7K Mellors will be $1 billion company, whether you decide to come on board or not. So you got to ask yourself the question, if not now, then when? If not this, then what? And if not you, then who? It's going to be a household name, ladies and gentlemen. I'd hate to say, I hate for you to tell your grandkids, I hate for you to tell your spouse that, you know what, I had a chance to do that, and I just simply made the wrong decision. So get back with the person who invited you. So the floor is open right now. Well, we got a few minutes before we go into training. So the floor is open. So if you're a guest on here today, you got a question or two about anything myself and Mr. Ladden share, here's the time you want to raise your hand. We will allow you to unmute because we believe in being very, very transparent, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. The floor is open, ladies and gentlemen. I see another one of our superstars came over here. She's going to do some more of that amazing training today. Miss Emily Manuel, I call her the queen of 7K. I don't care what nobody say. That's the queen of 7K right there. All right. I don't see any questions, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see any questions. So I'm showing right at 1 o'clock. So let's give it a 6-minute break. Salamir, if you can play a little music, let's give it a 6-minute break. And 5 minutes after, we're going to start our training with my man, Mr. Ray Patterson, a CFA that brings a whole nother element to the table. It's one thing to make it. It's another thing to learn how to keep it and how to multiply. And here, this is the guy's a master. Okay, we got Mr. Mark Mills. Let me unmute you, Mr. Mark Mills. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, but I'll make it quick. Yeah, quick question. I want to get my son started, my 11-year-old. Obviously, He can't start making an income. He can't do taxes, things like that. How can I get him started without him actually collecting a check, but still building his business so when he turns 18, he can go and roll with this?
Okay, here's how you do that. You can put your 11-year-old, you can get a subscription for him in the business, okay? And just buy coins. I have all of my children, they have their own individual subscription. Now, if he earns a commission before then, you would have to put it into a DBA or an LLC, until he turns 18. But you can just put him in right now at the age of 11 and just buy a coin under that spot, okay?
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll talk to him about it later. Thank you very much.
All right, hey, tell your son, welcome to the family.
I will do, thank you.
All right, guys. We give 5 minutes. You go ahead and refresh yourself, reach out to your teammates. Let's get this thing up to 100. And we'll be coming back with my man, Mr. Ray Patterson, one of the multi-millionaires that's in the business that knows his stuff about money. It's all about the money. We'll be right back in 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Salamir, take it away.
I'm going to talk to you about some things I've learned in my journey. Most from experience, some of them I heard in passing, many of them I'm still practicing, but all of them I do believe are true. Now, they may be truths to me, but don't think that that makes them mine, because you cannot own a truth. So please think of these as signposts, approaches, paradigms that give some science to satisfaction. They're yours to steal, they're yours to share, like into your own lives, to personally apply in your own lives, in your own way, should you choose to. So, here we go. Unbelievable is the stupidest word in the dictionary. It should never come out of our mouths. Think about it. To say, oh wow, what an unbelievable play. It was an unbelievable book, an unbelievable film, an unbelievable act of courage. Really? It may be spectacular, it may be phenomenal, most excellent or outstanding, but unbelievable? Give others and yourself more credit. It just happened, you witnessed it, you just did it, believe it. Give your obstacles credit.
You know, once you do find your frequency on something, go forward if you're a non-tyrant and don't ask permission. And that's the not giving a damn part. I've found that the world will actually acquiesce and go, yeah, I'll give you a green light on that, if you actually go forward and mean it, and you're gonna do it by hook or by crook and not ask permission.
Life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. And yes, most things are more rewarding when you break a sweat to get them.
Sit here in that discomfort long enough to go, okay, until you come out the other side to go, all right, I'm good with me again. I don't want to leave a place I traveled to until I get to the point of going, I could live here. This could be my existence. And as soon as I get to that point, then I'm like, okay, you can go. Now I can go. That's the same thing in the personal journeys. Stick with it until you get through the discomfortable to uncomfortable times, until you go, you know what? I can spend time with myself. I could do this. I could do this forever. Well, then it's okay to go re-engage, pick up your phone, go see your friends, go have a drink, what have you, go look for those things that are other relationships in life. But hopefully not until. There's great value in not doing that until you go, I'm good with me and me for right now.
So, to any of us, whatever those things are, whatever it is we look up to, whatever it is we look forward to, and whoever it is we're chasing, to that I say amen. To that I say, all right, all right, all right. And to that I say, just keep living, huh? Thank you. See, happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. It's an if-then, cause and effect, quid pro quo standard that we cannot sustain because we immediately raise it every time we attain it. See, happiness demands a certain outcome. It is result reliant. And I say, if happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently and you're going to be unhappy much of your time. Joy, though, joy is a different thing. It's something else. Joy is not a choice. It's not a response to some result. It's a constant. Joy is the feeling that we have from doing what we are fashioned to do. It is just as important where we are not as it is where we are. Look, the first step that leads to our identity in life is usually not, I know who I am, I know who I am. That's not the first step. The first step's usually, I know who I am not. Process of elimination. Defining ourselves by what we are not is the first step that leads us to really knowing who we are. South of New Orleans a few years ago, and I went to a voodoo shop, and they had this wooden partition against the wall with these columns, and in these columns were all these vials of these magic potions, right? And the headings above each potion defining what they would give you were things like fertility, health, family, legal help, energy, forgiveness, money. Guess which column was empty? Money. Let's admit it. Money is king today. It's what makes the world go round. It is success. The more we have, the more successful we are, right? Now, I would argue that our cultural values have even been financialized. Humility is not in vogue anymore. It's too passive. It's a get rich quick on the internet, rich is 15 minutes of fame world that we live in, and we see it every day. But we all want to succeed, right? So the question that we got to ask ourselves is what success is to us, what success is to you. Is it more money? That's fine. I got nothing against money. I don't. Maybe it's a healthy family. Maybe it's a happy marriage. Maybe it's to help others, to be famous, to be spiritually sound, to leave the world a little bit better place than you found it. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now, your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. It tastes sweet, but you will get cavities tomorrow, all right? Life is not a popularity contest. Be brave, take the hill, but first answer that question, what's my hill?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully each and every one of you guys are taking notes on that. Mr. Matthew McConaughey, sharing some wisdom that we can definitely apply to our life. This next gentleman is someone I have the utmost respect for. I met him actually about 20 years ago when I first got involved in this space. We were part of the same company, didn't really know him as well back then. And then my second company, which was another gold and silver company, he was actually on my team in that company where we still had never met face to face until he decided to join me here at 7K Metals about 5 years ago. And we actually flew out there to Greensboro, North Carolina to help one of my best friends, Pastor Keith Street, bring in another pastor in the business. And Ray drove up from Charlotte to be a part of what we were doing. And we got a chance to meet for the first time, and we've been inseparable ever since. So help me welcome to the Zoom to share with us about It's All About the Money, my friend and business partner, CFA, and one of the wealthiest guys I know on the planet, Mr. Ray Patterson. Take it away, sir. Unmute, Ray.
And let's try that. How's that, Tony?
That'll work, man. That'll work. Take it away.
Well, welcome everybody, and I hope each and every one of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're coming up on the holiday season, and I hope every one of you is doing everything you can to get on these shows, pay attention to all of this wonderful information, hear from all of our astute leaders on here, and let's jump right in. Now, today is going to be part 3 of 3. I started this 2 weeks ago, then last week, and I'm going to finish up with this segment today. Now, my position here at Legacy Builders Global is to share with you truthful financial education, things that are currently affecting you and your finances in the real world. My opinion editorials are shared here first on Legacy Builders. Then they appear over various platforms that I contribute to. For example, Brighteon, Substack, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Wall Street Journal Online, Stansberry Research, G. Edward Griffin's Need to Know .news. And then, of course, on Thursday nights, you can go to 9atnight.com to hear much more with me and Christine. On the 9atnight.com site, your passcode is simply the number 9 and then at night. The at night part, you need to put in all caps. A lot of our financial education can always be accessed at oceandrivecapital.net. That's oceandrivecapital.net. If you haven't visited my site, please do so. There's a lot of wonderful financial education on there that, quite frankly, it's going to be very hard for you to access elsewhere. Okay. Before I share part 3 of my message with you today, this week, the banking rating company Moody's just downgraded, yes, the banking system to negative. This has never happened in over 50 years between Fitch, Moody's, S&P 500's rating system, and then, of course, someone that I am constantly looking at is WISE, that's WEISS, wiseratings.com's. That would be Martin Wise. It's just amazing how all of this continues to be perpetrated in the background at the expense of BU and we the people. Okay. When that happened this week, and by the way, you didn't see hardly any mention of this within the line mainstream media. Yeah, go figure, right? Immediately thereafter, Janet Yellen, head of the Treasury under Let's Go Brandon and Jerome Powell, who was the head of the Federal Reserve. Remember, Janet was his predecessor over there. Don't get me started on her. And then, of course, Christine Lagarde of the International Monetary Fund. They went apoplectic. Okay. For reasons that hopefully I don't have to explain to you. By coming here, you already get it, what's going on. Okay. Understand that these people, they are all part of the cabal of the central banks in the New World Order. They continue to do everything they can to perpetuate their fraud. This is where the politics of money meets Main Street. This is part of what I teach. This is part of what I write about constantly and research constantly. These people in your Congress, they're all liars. Okay, I said it. Okay, let's jump right in. Now, let's touch on part 3 of the plan. Step 1, at the absolute minimum, if you have a 401 or similar retirement product, you need to be rolling that into a precious metals-backed, self-directed IRA 10 minutes ago to protect yourself from what's been happening for the last few years regarding what the Federal Reserve and their FDIC and their banking partners are up to. If you don't know what they are up to, you better make it a point to learn what they are up to. You won't get this information by Googling it. Don't get me started on Google. You won't get this information from anywhere within the lying mainstream media. You must tune in to the alternative media that, quite frankly, I play a part in. In doing so, you must learn to discern what is the truth. You can get started by going to my website. I mentioned it just before, oceandrivecapital.net. The vast majority of what's on there is only truthful financial education. I back it up for my career. I back it up with my very being in my life. I have spent years and thousands of hours to learn and discern what is truthful and what is propaganda. Everything you hear and see on these presentations and the slides you are watching, they are the absolute truth. And all of us on here, we have made it our mission to help each and every one of you. Once you discern the truth, you need to be taking this newfound knowledge and applying it to your own action plan. I would challenge you to find any other network marketing company that goes this deeply into the truth. That being said, here's what I highly suggest. Start cashing out most or all of your 401s, IRAs, and Roths. Yes, Cash them out. Take the tax hit now. What was prevalent yesterday, those rules are out the window. You'll more than recover that tax hit in the next couple of years or less as the metals value exponentially increases. Take some of those cash and buy more value sectors of the market. For example, myself and my clients, we get into mining stocks, privately held mining companies, and energy companies. Okay, historically speaking, doing that will greatly shorten your 401 and IRA tax hit of today, and probably in just a few months, based on years of historical data. Depending on your current age, if you wait on doing this until your next 401 RMD, that stands for the required minimum distribution, which kicks in at first at 59 and a half, and then your final RMD kicks in at 72 and a half. And there's reasons for that I'll be glad to discuss with you individually if you would like. That tax rate could, in theory, based on the data, if you take the today number, that tax hit could be 2 to 3 times what it is today in just the next 2 to 5 years, wiping out over half of what you've saved, if not more. Step 2. Besides taking advantage of the 7K program and the monthly collectible numismatic coins, you need to be adding investment grade bullion to your savings plan. When the financial reset does hit, and it will, based on those current silver values, which, by the way, silver again hit $25 an ounce. That's the spot price earlier this week. And it's only going to keep going up, supply, demand. And let me stress, I'm only speaking to the silver value. All of those numismatic coins that you get from 7K and all of that investment grade bullion based solely on the market of today. Wait for it. The silver value, just the silver, not the collectability value, but just the silver value will in all likelihood increase 16 times in value over what it's worth today. Imagine that. 16 times. That's the silver. I'm not talking about the collectability aspect. That's a completely different market. You need to have both. Regarding the numismatics, my statements do not take into account the potential historical value. Remember, investment grade bullion is your defense. The 7K numismatics that you are getting, hopefully you're getting at least one every single month. That is your offense. Okay. That is why I buy both each and every month, and I have for years. I've been buying investment grade bullion since 1994. I have been buying collectible numismatics since about 2007, 2008, something like that. Okay, now think about that for a moment. Regarding cash, and of course, by doing that, I'm building my offense, I'm building my defense. You got to have a good offense. You got to have a good defense. They work in tandem with each other. Regarding cash, you need some cash for reasons that should be obvious. I've been talking about this for months on here. But whatever that percentage is for you, and of course, everybody's position is different. You need to be taking some of that cash you have in your safe, under your mattress, wherever it might be, and you need to be, and that cash that you have available inside of your 401/IRA, you need to be purchasing pre-1933 sovereign coins. Now, the number one reason that myself and my clients like the pre-1933s, is because those particular coins, they are completely non-reportable. There's no SAR forms. That stands for suspicious activity reports. None of those are generated to the IRS or Homeland Security. There's no banking, as such, there's no banking reporting. There's no CTRs. That stands for cash transaction reports that kick in on anything you do at your bank over $10,000. We've talked about the $10,000 rule here on this show many times. It's better and much safer than cash. Better still, there's no capital gains taxes when you sell them because of what I just stated. This is the most preferred asset of the wealthy, beyond just having gold and silver. These coins also have a very limited supply. As such, and because of everything else that I just stated, they carry a slightly higher premium. You got to know that market too. You have to understand everything that you buy, everything. They are the most easily liquidated from all other coins for all of the aforementioned reasons. If you store those coins in one of our highly recommended private vaults that I also use myself, then converting back to USD process can happen within literally a day or two if you need to divest yourself and you need to put some of that, divest those and put them back into your bank account so you can access that cash there. For me and my clients, we typically store the majority of our post 1986 coins and pre 33 silver in one of those recommended private vaults and have a good portion of our gold and a small percentage of the silver sent directly to our homes to be stored in our own private vaults. Okay. This is simply because the larger footprint required for storage. Okay. Obviously, you can take a tube of gold coins. You can put that darn near anywhere and hide it. Okay. Well, if you take that same value and equate that to those big monster boxes, that's a big footprint. That's why you might want to consider, I've got an account in the Sound Money system, just like hopefully most of you do on here. So you gotta, everybody's different, of course, but you gotta be able to segment some of that. You gotta privately, you have to very securely store that wealth that is the most efficient and effective for you. And of course, you can always reach out to me and I'll be gladly to help recommend those security recommendations to you upon request. Step 3, cash. Yes, the Fed ultimately wants to outlaw cash. They can't track cash, therefore they can't tax it. The line media has been told by the power base to tell all of us that cash is bad, that terrorists use it, that drug dealers use it. But funny how they don't include what Congress does and what they do with our money every day. Okay, yeah, I know. Here we go. And then, of course, is Fed Now. Let me reemphasize that again, because I'm already seeing people that are activating their Fed Now card, and then they're very quickly finding out that it's the worst thing they have ever done. This, of course, is the Fed's last move in their financial chessboard before they attempt to take everything to the digital level, including, of course, cash. If you get one of these debit cards attached to your bank, do not activate it. If you do, you will never again have any control over your financial life. It's that simple. You will have zero privacy. More on all of this is covered on my podcast and website. And of course, we've talked about it on here. You're going to want to have enough cash on hand to cover a minimum of at least 3 months of your total monthly bills. If you can swing it, 6 months. Now, if they get away with outlawing cash, you still will have time to turn some of that cash into precious metals and preferably the pre-33 sovereign coins. Again, no reporting of anything, therefore no taxes. It's like Tony was saying, part of what I teach is not what you make, it's what you keep. We can facilitate all of that for you. All right. In conclusion, most of what I just said flies in the face of normal education and normal banking. I'm now referring to how all of us have been indoctrinated with this crap for all of these years. I'm also referring to how you were never taught any of this, just like Joe and Tony were just alluding to within the Wealth Strategies presentation. After all, the current system, it worked pretty good since the Fed opened their doors in November of 1914. And when the Fed, and years later, after the Bretton Woods system was implemented right after 1944, and even since Nixon took us off the gold standard 52 years ago in August of 71. Okay, let's call it what it is. Yes, there have been numerous crises and depressions since 1913. But you know what? Me and you, we're still here after all of that, after our grandparents, our parents, and even 71, if you were around in 71 like I was. But to what end? Simple answer, simple conclusion. Get truthfully informed and take immediate action. The choices you make today will determine your future. Remember, fortune favors the prepared mind. I'm out of here. Good to see everybody. We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you so much. Tony, back to you.
All right, Mr. Ray Patterson, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys, like myself, was taking some copious notes about everything that Mr. Ray Patterson said. Like I said, he considers me his mentor when it comes to network marketing. He's my mentor when it comes to finance because that's his field of expertise. And one of the things I'm constantly reminded of every time I listen to Mr. Ray Patterson, because every time, there's that aha moment, there's that enlightenment, there's a revelation about certain things about money that I did not know, because he's forgotten more about money than I'd probably ever learned. But one of the things I'm constantly reminded of, and I want you guys to be reminded of as well, one of my mentors in finances taught me years ago. He said, what you don't know about money, your ignorance will become somebody else's wealth. Let me say that again. What you don't know about money, your ignorance will become someone else's wealth. And so let's learn all that we can about money. Let's learn all that we can about our business, our industry of network marketing. And I can think of nobody better to really enhance our knowledge as far as network marketing than this next young lady that's getting ready to speak. Someone I have the utmost respect for. I met her about 3 years ago when she first came on board. And she came to our convention in 2021 after she was one of dozens of people that had won the 100-ounce silver bar. And one of the things I found to be true, oftentimes you hear a lot of great things about people, and then when you meet them, you're kind of disappointed because they're not as good as advertised. I can truthfully say about this young lady that every time I've met her, everything I've heard about it, she is definitely as good as advertised, if not better. When she set a goal that she was going to not only, hit silver in less than 90, she did it. And then when she came to the first convention, she set a goal that by the time she got back, within a week's time, she was going to take it from silver to gold. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? She did it. She's built one of the most phenomenal organizations in our company. She's definitely a leader's leader. Help me welcome to the Zoom to teach on whatever she wants to teach on. Top producing gold associate, Miss Emily Manuel. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Tony. Appreciate that introduction. It's always tough, hearing some things about you from other people, but I'm super grateful for the relationship that I have with Tony and his leadership and all the things that he has to offer. And I'm going to segue off of what Ray Patterson was training on, you guys. How many of you thought that Mr. Ray Patterson dropped some really awesome nuggets? If you got something great out of that, please drop a yes or a chihu or whatever you want to be able to say. I want to share like a really quick video with you guys. I'm going to share my screen real fast. And whoops, not what I wanted to do. Hold on. I'm going to share my computer sound. Okay, I posted this video on my Instagram and my Facebook, and I will lead into a story with this. Let me make sure my volume's up. Here we go. And so I wanted to share that with you because someone had commented on my post and asked the question. So with the collectibles, what are your thoughts on that, right? When you need more silver. And I'm so glad that Ray said what he said, because one of the answers that I had responded to, I said, well, the good thing about our collectibles, you guys, is that it's actually physical gold and silver. It's still a real asset. So even though if the collectible value may not at that moment seem like it's valuable, it'll be way more just on the silver value alone. So that was pretty powerful. I love that. So thanks for sharing that. The other thing that he shared was, you know, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Really powerful statement there for sure. And that the fortune favors those who are prepared. And so really, really powerful. I love Ray. I love all of his nuggets. He's just been so on point the last few weeks. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and share with you something that I had put together. And here we go. I'm going to transition with this with Mr. Jim Rohn. I'll play like just a minute of it.
I have a good comment for your notes. Now's the time to fix the next 10 years. Now, sometimes you have to come to grips with reality and with truth. That's what was good for me when I met Mr. Schoaf. I was 25 years old. He was 44 years old. And he brought me a wealth of experience, and he started asking me the tough questions. Big question, he said, are you reading the books that's going to take you where you want to go in the next 5 years? Excellent question. So you want to make sure. I would assume for all of you, to get where you want to be in the next 5 years, you're either reading the right books or you're not. That's kind of a brilliant statement, right? You're either engaged in the disciplines or you're not. But here's what we don't want to engage in. Disillusion. Hoping without acting. You know, wishing without doing. So the key is to take a look and say, where am I? What could I do to make the changes, to make sure that I can take more certain daily steps toward the treasure I want, the mental treasure, the personal treasure, the spiritual treasure, the financial treasure. I don't want to make any errors. Now's the time to adjust my daily program to take me where I want to go.
So I'm going to stop right there. So guys, in order for things to change, you have to be able to change, and you have to have that personal growth, and you have to keep changing and evolving. And so I love what Jim Rohn talks about. He was one of my very first coaches or mentors, right? Whether it be, you know, on a CD back then, or, you know, in a video, or now on YouTube. Really powerful to make sure that you're always expanding yourself and making sure that you're learning and you're growing and you're reading the right things and you're doing the right things to be able to take that action that you want to be able to take. And so I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and I'm going to go talk about what I'm going to train on. So how many of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving? If you did, drop a yes. You know, you had a great time. Happy holidays. I am so grateful for so many things, and I'm super thankful for all of you. Now, what you're going to notice is in the holidays, right, we've got like Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas poking around the corner. That's why I've got Santa Claus kind of like looking out here. And the next thing you know, the new year is upon us, and we're wishing everybody a happy new year. And, you know, in the case where Ray was talking about, some of us are unprepared for the new year. And so how do we get prepared for this new year, you guys? You know, I'm going to share a little bit of a backstory. One of the things that I love about network marketing is that even in your failures or in maybe your experiences, you can learn from them. And so I remembered, you know, being a part of a company, and I know I saw Madiba on here, but he was with a part of the same company as well, where it was the Stars and Cars. And with that company, you know, I was able to earn the BMW. And then when I was with this other company that I was a part of prior to 7K, Well, I was able to earn that Cadillac. And then so when I got into 7K Metals, you guys, they were like, the prize is a silver bar. And I have to tell you, I was super naive and I didn't understand the value of that silver bar. I knew I wanted the bar only because I wanted proof that it works, that people can, that they'll actually give you one, right? Proof is in the pudding. I wanted to physically hold one. And I wanted people to see in Hawaii that you can do this, that it's totally possible. So I wanted to raise the belief level, not just for myself, but I wanted to really, I wanted to increase the belief level of myself, but I also wanted to increase the belief level of other people that say, hey, go get that silver bar. And then I'm so glad that I got it because now I truly understand how powerful that silver bar is, you guys. Those cars, once we drive it off the lot, it's a depreciating asset. What they teach us here is exactly what they preach, is this is an appreciating asset. And what I love about these past experiences that I've had is it tells you what to do that worked and then what not to do and what to avoid, right? And so these experiences and these quote unquote failures that we have, they're really not, they're just lessons, right? They are teaching us some things. And so, sorry about that real quick. So during the holidays, you guys, I wanted to share this story only because some of the people that have said, hey, you know, the holidays are upon us, business is going to slow down. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot because everybody's so focused on Thanksgiving. Everybody's so focused on Christmas coming up, the holiday shopping, and then New Year's is going to come around the corner. Well, I'm going to share a story with you. One of the companies that I started prior to 7K Metals, I started in the month of October. But in October, I did absolutely nothing. It was one of those companies where they're like, okay, you have a whole month to produce and do all the things that you wanted to do. So in the beginning of October 1st is when I signed up. And guess what happened the entire month of October? I did absolutely nothing. I was still the director of sales and marketing for this local newspaper and magazine company that I was running. And I just didn't have time to do anything with my business, but I got the products. And so then after that happened in the month of November, I remember just going, you know, I really don't like what I do. And the owner of the company had asked me a question, hey, I would love for you to take over my company. And it was something that she built from scratch. It'd been around for a very long time. It supplies island-wide, all of these things. And she had a process in place. She wanted me to take over. And I remember thinking, you know, I just don't see myself being here long-term. And so I finally just said, you know, I'm honored that you've asked me to do that. But that's not my dream and that's not my goal. And so I decided in November that I was going to quit my job and do that business that I was a part of full time. So December 1st rolls around, right? Oh, by the way, I spoke to my sponsor and I told her what I wanted to do. I said, I'm going to try to do this company full time. And she's like, you know, you only have like 3 people like in your entire organization. And I said, yeah. And she said, do you also know you're probably not going to get paid very much with 3 people on your team? And I said, yeah. She goes, I know. She goes, I love you. I believe in you. I just wanted to make sure you understood that. I said, I totally get it. We were talking with Reed Denning a little bit earlier. I said, I have money in place. I have money as a backup plan. And so if all else fails, I'm going to be okay. Worst case scenario, I think I'm pretty employable. I can probably find a job in January. So in December, the month of December, during Christmas, during the holidays, you guys, I decided to launch my other business where I got that Cadillac. And in that same month, I hit 3 ranks. And then the last rank I hit it was a far stretch, but I was able to do it. It was the rank just before that Cadillac rank. And so guys, that's where the momentum started in the month of December that carried me through in the month of January. And so that was super powerful because I didn't believe, or I didn't know that the holidays were upon us. I just like went to work. I didn't think about it being December. I just did it. And so now when I come into 7K, I started in November, pretty much almost the same pattern. And then we had some momentum going on in our team. And in January, I got that silver bar. So guys, the efforts and the things that you do in the month of November and December, that momentum will carry you through in January. This is why right now is not the time to slack. I mean, yes, go enjoy your friends. Yes, go out there and meet your family members, but put your business, right? Because Christmas and Thanksgiving is one day. It was Thursday. Christmas, I'll give you Christmas Eve and I'll give you Christmas Day. That's 2 days in December. January 1st, New Year's is one day. I'll give you New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. But the rest of the time, you guys, it's time to be able to work, right? And so take a look at this. So how do you do that? How do you build that momentum during this time? Well, you've got to be able to focus and stay in action mode. So you're not going to go into holiday mode. You're going to stay in action mode, and you're going to celebrate the holiday, not the holiday month. Holiday, okay? You're not going to take the whole month of Christmas, Thanksgiving, and the New Year's time off, right? You're going to stay in action mode. So imagine this, you guys. If you were driving a vehicle, or if you had a car, if you turn that car off after you take like a vacation, and let's say you're gone for 2-3 months, what happens to your car, even if it's brand new and you don't keep your engine running? It doesn't start, right? The battery freezes up, things in your car starts to deteriorate. And so that's why it's so important, even during the holidays, to keep your engine running, because just like a car, if you're not running that engine, you're not at least turning the key and you're not getting engaged, that car is going to get stuck at some point, and you don't want to be able to do that. And so what happens to your car if you don't run it, right? Exactly what I just shared. And so right now is the right time to prepare and build. So one of the first things you want to be able to do is focus. Well, I put here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Like just run through the week because this is the holidays. But run really, really hard. And then whatever the Thanksgiving or Christmas falls on, take that break, but then get right back into action mode, right? We just had Thanksgiving, right? Take Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, use those times to go get phone numbers, go out there and meet some people, build relationships. That's how you're going to build your network. That's how you can add to that 100 name list. Call people, wish people happy Thanksgiving, happy New Year, happy Merry Christmas, right? Make those phone calls, because guess what? Now you've got them thinking about you, and then you can go back and revisit with them later. You're going to say, hey, you know what? I just want to connect with you. Let them know right now. I'm just loving to connect with you right now for Thanksgiving, but later on, I'm going to connect with you and let's have a conversation and have that over the holidays. Use this time to collect names, numbers, meet new people. There's going to be people at your, family parties or holiday parties or employees parties where you may not have met some people. Great time to go collect those names. Use the holidays for your advantage to grow and build your network, and build that momentum now for January, because that momentum, if you started in January, you're going to be behind the curve. A lot of times what people happens during the holidays, they get lost in the forest and they wander into the woods. So one, make sure you stay on track and stay connected. Make sure you're plugging in. They always talk about stay close to the campfire. That's exactly what it is. Remove those distractions, because there's going to be a ton during the holidays. Focus on spending time, but remove some of those unnecessary distractions during that time. What also happens oftentimes is the shiny object syndrome will happen, where you'll see the latest, newest, and the greatest thing ever. I remember when I was a part of that other company where I had gotten that BMW, you guys, just when I hit the position of what they called regional director, right after I hit that car rank, there was a newest, latest, greatest shiny object that came to the island of Kauai and in the Hawaiian Islands. And what happens in the Hawaiian Islands is news travels super, super fast. So all of the people that was in my organization or were in my organization ended up jumping into that other company. It happens. But you know what? My sponsor jumped in that company and she's like, Em, come over here, come over here. And I said, no, I stayed put. I stayed exactly where I was. I said, no, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to build. I'm going to build long-term, because that other company that I saw coming up, I knew it wasn't going to last, but I knew the company that I was at was better than where they were going, right? And so make sure you stay focused, because there's going to be a lot of shiny objects out there and you're going to want to try that new shiny thing, right? But we've got such great things, guys. So remember to keep your focus. Here's what I want to share with you. Based on the experiences that I've had taking a look at compensations plans, companies, all of the things that I have seen, these are the experiences that I've learned and why it's so powerful to be a part of what we're doing right now. One is I took a look at the residual income with the other companies. The residual income here, bar none, absolutely great, right? Weekly payouts, we get paid weekly here. What does that mean? Is that at any week, if you need that extra 250 or 500, you can make that happen. You've just got to put in the time and you've got to work, and you can start anytime. You don't have to do what I did and wait till October 1st to have a full month of production. For those of you who've been a part of a company like that, where you had to work the whole month, see how you close out, and then the 15th you get paid out. That's 45 days before you get a check, right? Not everybody can wait that long. Here, you guys, we get weekly payouts. No end of month rush or headaches. I remember at the end of the month, everybody was trying to re-rank, and everybody was trying to get paid what they wanted to get paid based on their rank. And I just had like a massive headache. So there was a time, even on New Year's Eve, I was like on my computer helping put in, things to products that I had to purchase. People who had to get in the system, and we had to enroll. And what I love about what we do, you guys, is we have no breakaway. One of the other companies I was a part of, if they were a certain rank, I couldn't really count on them anymore for my group volume. They were part of my team volume, but they were not part of my group volume. And there was a lot of like confusing things that happened. So I love that we also have assets that do not expire. We have collectibles as well that, Ray was just talking about. Andy Standish jumped on one of our Zoom calls, and you know what she said? I am so grateful that Miles wasn't a collector of Beanie Babies, and that Miles is actually a collector of gold and silver. So she's like, I am fine, Em. I am set. And I love that I can still do the Standish Foundation because we're so tight in our finances and our budget. I volunteer for the Standish Foundation. She doesn't pay herself to do this work, but because of what Miles has done and has set her up for success with his gold, silver, and collectibles, she's great, right? So don't collect Beanie Babies and all that other stuff, right? Those are great and fun, but gold and silver, key. Auto savers, you guys, versus personal volume. With this company, to just stay active, you just need one autosaver. In other companies I was a part of, the higher you went, the higher those personal volumes had to be. So instead of one coin at like say 115, right, I had to have $500 worth of personal volume or more just to stay active and to get paid out the rank that you wanted to get paid out. So I'm sharing you guys these things because these differences makes you realize how grateful we should be for the comp plan and the company we have. Auto savers versus that personal volume, huge. Group volume, team volume. We have a simple compensation plan. Guys, I had one of these other really big leaders in another network marketing company approach me. They are huge social media networkers. They have a huge organization. I mean, these guys are making some bucks. And you know what? He's like, hey, Em, I want you to take a look at this compensation plan because he's trying to recruit me, right? I looked at the comp plan, you guys, it was complex. There were like 6-7 pages. And it's like, oh, you got to do this. And there's a breakaway and you got all this. And you got to have this much personal volume, this much group volume, this much team volume. I was like, man, I had a headache looking at that comp plan, you guys. 8, I love how we teach people how to make money. We teach them to be able to go and get that buyers and collectors training. We teach you how to make that money work for you. We also teach people how to save money. One of the things that I loved about the other companies is I could teach people how to make money. One of the things I didn't like about other companies I was a part of is we didn't know how to teach people what to do with their money. Here we can teach people how to save money, teach people what to do with the money that they've earned, right? Use that Sounds Money wallet as your savings, $1 a day, $5 here, get rid of that coffee maybe here or there, right? Instead of buying that Louis Vuitton bag, how about buy some gold and silver? We're recession proof. Guys, we're protecting your money, we're protecting other people with their money. It's a tax write-off. It's a huge potential tax benefit. Owning your own business here, low startup costs, assets versus liability. I compare that, right? A silver bar versus a car. Stars in cars or silver bars, right? One more way to get free silver now is through that legacy package, guys. Anytime someone clicks that button and goes get some gold and silver, the company is gifting you more free silver. Guys, we've got a great compensation plan. We've got a great company. Create wealth on any budget, guys, like I talked about. Imagine if you did that $1 or a cup of coffee, you multiply that over a period of a year just for that, you guys. I mean, it's $1,040 just to be able to have one cup of coffee sacrificed every single week for a whole year. $1,040 that you could put away. But you know what? If you put that through gold and silver, that $1,040 is going to be worth more. Now talk about having the average family and the average household really get ahead with even $1,000. How powerful is that? Our overhead cost, which is our auto saver, it's also a tax write-off and it's an asset. Focus on one company, not 10 companies or 3 companies. Focus on one company and you'll build that solid residual income that you so desire and that you want to be able to have. The other company, when I left it, even after 2 years of not putting any new enrollments, any new VIP customers, any new members, you guys, I was still getting paid in the thousands for a couple years doing absolutely nothing. That's residual income, you guys, and that's what we can develop here, but it's even far more powerful. It's compounding. Now, I'm going to share this really quick video. This is Ted Lasso. I did the Ted Lasso Be a Goldfish, which is, you know, hey, forget in 10 seconds. Well, this Ted Lasso one is about life. And I'm going to share this quick video, but Ted Lasso was someone who's inexperienced in running a soccer team. They call it football, where he's at right now. And I'm going to have you, I'm going to press play, and we'll wrap up soon.
No, I have never coached the sport that you folks call football. Heck, you could fill 2 internets with what I don't know about football. But I'll tell you what I do know. I know that AFC Richmond, like any team I've ever coached, is going to go out there and give you everything they got for all 4 quarters. What was that? I do love a locker room. Oh, man. To believe in yourself, to believe in one another, man, that's fundamental to being alive. Now, I'm gonna say this again, just so you didn't think it was a mistake the first time I said it. For me, success is not about the wins and losses. It's about helping these young fellas be the best versions of themselves, on and off the field.
To the family we're born with, and to the family we make along the way.
How many of them came?
4 of them.
All right, see what you got, young lady. Come on. What you got? What you got? Whoa! Are you kidding me? You see that? Barbecue sauce. So I've been hearing this phrase y'all got over here that I ain't too crazy about. It's the hope that kills you. I disagree. I think it's the lack of hope that comes and gets you. See, I believe in hope. I believe in belief. Now, where I'm from, you guys saying too. Yeah? Question, actually. Do you believe in miracles?
Guys, they went from nothing to being the top players, you know, in their category, guys. Sometimes you might not know everything, but you've just got to go and grow as you learn, and you've got to believe. And that's why I shared all of those things, because I wanted to pass on the belief level that I have onto you. Because if you go out there and you share what you believe and build that camaraderie, build those relationships, right? It's going to make a huge difference, and it makes a huge impact in your organization. Guys, go make that call, connect with people. Use this time to go build those relationships, build those friendships, extend the invitation, right? Use these holidays for conversation starters. Write those letters or holiday cards. Nobody gets cards anymore. Nobody writes letters anymore. Why don't you write a letter and let them know how life is going for you? And then they'll reach out to you. And when you make that phone call, did you get my letter, right? Or you can even share via text if you have to, but do something. And so guys, you know, I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving, you know, slay and stay in that attitude of gratitude. And that's all I got to share. Guys, I'm going to turn it right over to Tony Hubbard. Thank you so much for allowing me to share today.
All right, Miss Emily Manuel. Again, running out of notepads on the notes and stuff. But do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, if you got some value out of what Miss Emily Manuel does, and that's what the best of the best leaders do. John Maxwell wrote a book called The Power of Five, and he talks about what the 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure year income earners in network marketing do every day. And one of the things he said that they do, they add value to people's lives every day. So do me a favor, put a 5 in the chat if you got value from what Miss Emily Manuel just shared today. I've already had several of you guys say, hey, can I get that recording? Can I get that recording? I mean, and again, that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a real leader in this space of home-based business and network marketing, and I know I'm going to offend some of you that are on here today, and that's okay. But if you're a real leader in this space of home-based business and network marketing, you know, there's a certain way you carry yourself. One of the things I've always admired about the co-founders, Josh Anderson, Zach Davis, and Mr. Roger Ball is this. You know, I've always imagined, when I first got involved in this space, I've always imagined how it would be once I got a chance to spend time with millionaires and billionaires, you know, how they would be so I could learn from them. Because my mentor told me you can learn from everybody in the business. Some will be an example and others will be a warning. So you can learn from everybody in the business. But I always imagine how it would be when I got a chance to spend time with these individuals so I can learn and make sure that when I get to that point where I'm making millions of dollars a year and millions of dollars a month, and like in Roger Ball's case, you know, I know how to handle myself the right way. And one of the things I've always admired about them from the very beginning is that there's no air about them. The people that do it the right way, there's no air. They are always approachable. And that's one of the things I love about Miss Emily Manuel. And if you notice, she don't go around boasting about what she did. She just let the numbers speak for themselves. And she does what my favorite book of all time says. And for those of you that don't mind looking it up, Proverbs 27:2, it said, let another man praise thee and not thine own mouth, a stranger and not thine own lips. If you're putting in the work, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You ain't got to go around talking about what you're doing, ladies and gentlemen. The company will talk about you. You'll show up on the report. You'll show up on the leaderboard because you're putting in the work. At the end of the day, this is network marketing, not net wish marketing. And the only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. So I'm going to be on one of those today. I'm going to share some things today. Again, it'll probably be offensive to some of you, but that's okay. I mean, hopefully you'll take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully you would internalize it and make sure that you become a better leader. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, my goal is to make sure that I add value to people's lives and I share with you the truth about what to do in order to have success. The first time I met Eric Warre, I paid $500 to go to a network marketing conference back in 2005. And that was before he was the Eric Warre that we know him today. But to be on that stage, I mean, that was some of the legends in network marketing. That was Mark Yarnell, who wrote Your First Year Network Marketing. He was there. That was Big Al Tells All. He was there. These were the guys I had looked up to that were making $1 million plus a year, $4 or $5 million a year. And I had never heard of Eric Warre, but to get on that stage, you had to be making at least $1 million a year for multiple years in your network marketing. So you couldn't be lucky to get on that stage. But Eric Warre said something to me, and at that time, I was not making six figures. I mean, I was struggling, just to pay my bills, and I was full-time in my first company. But he said something on that stage that I'm making my business to make sure that now that I'm making six figures here in 70K Metals, and I've made six figures for most of my 20 years now in network marketing, he said something on that stage I'll never forget. He said, when you make it in network marketing, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, he said, you owe it to your team to tell them the truth of exactly what you did in order to make it. Okay, so that's what we're going to share with you guys today. Myself, Emily, Madiba, Yuri, several of you that are on here today. Mr. Jason Shirley was one, Scott Zuckerman, but it was about 90 of us about in early October, spent time with the co-founders at the second annual leadership conference for Goals and Higher. And this is the first time at the leadership conference that they charged us to do our part to make this $1 billion company in the next 3 to 5 years. And so they charged each and every one of us to sponsor 10 new people in 60 days, since we left the conference. Now, it's been about 50 days since we left the conference. I was the first to do that. And right now, I've sponsored 16 people in the last 45 days. Okay, 16 people in the last 45 days. So do me a favor, put a 3 in the chat if you want to know what we did in order to make that happen and what we've done to have made a few million during that time frame. Put a 3 in the chat, because we're not talking theory. We're not talking about hypotheses. We're not talking about hype. We're gonna tell you exactly what we did and what we're doing in order to make that happen. Okay. Well, when they sent out that challenge, one of the first things I was taught in network marketing, if you're gonna be a success, if you're gonna create the kind of income and the lifestyle that most people dream about, my mentor told me, he said, never be a minimalist. What do I mean by that? He said, never make the minimum your maximum. Okay. And so when they charged us for 10, I set a goal to sponsor 15 people in 45 days, and we were able to accomplish that. To personally sponsor 15, and now I'm setting a goal of at least 20 by the time the 60-day challenge is over with. So we brought on 16 in the last 45 days. But again, I've always focused on never being a minimalist, never make the minimums your maximum. And so that being said, One of the things I found to be true, and here's what I want each and every one of you guys to take it to heart. I don't want you to be thinking about other folks. I want you to internalize what I'm getting ready to say. And so you can step up to the plate and you can change the one person who you have say so in that change, and that's you. Jim Rome said it, and Emily started off her talk with it. She said, in order for things to change, you have to change. In order for things to get better, guess what? You've got to get better. Each and every one of you, there's 70 plus people that have been on here. Each and every one of you have the capability. I mean, you have the intestinal fortitude. You have the talent, you have the skills to be a silver in 7K medals, to be a gold, to be an executive, to be a presidential gold. But the question is, are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to do what you have to do? Are you willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow that others won't have? Are you willing to do what Ms. Emily Manuel talked about, to be prospecting even during the holidays when everybody else is in vacation mode? Are you willing to do that one extra thing that your future self will thank you for? Now, so here's what I want you to understand. And here's the question you got to ask yourself today as we wrap up the call. The habits you have today, you got to ask yourself this question. The habits you have today, are they on par with the dreams you have tomorrow? Ask yourself that question. The habits you have today. Don't think about nobody else. Don't compare yourself to another, because comparison is the thief of all joy. The habits you have today, are they on par with the dreams you have tomorrow? For those of you that have a dream, like myself, a presidential goal, $50,000 a month, when I walk that stage there in Vegas. The habits you have today, are they on par with the dreams you have tomorrow? And the work ethic you have today, is it on par with the dreams you have tomorrow? Here's what I know to be true, because I see the report. All presidential goals, all executive goals, all the goals in the company show up on my report. So I'm not telling theory, I'm not talking hypotheses, I'm telling you fact. Here's what I know to be true. Everybody on my team, when I look at the report, everybody that's making $5,000 plus a month, guess what? The ones that I know, they have $5,000 a month habits. The people on my team that are making $10,000 a month, guess what? They have $10,000 a month habits. The people that are making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, and even $50,000 a month, guess what? Newsflash. They have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month habits. Okay, one of my favorite books, Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect. Here's what he said, ladies and gentlemen. Simple daily disciplines over time, I don't care who you are, will eventually yield the compound effect. Here's the reason why some of you haven't experienced the compound effect. Many of you guys quit right before you get ready to win. You know, y'all start out. We just finished up a 33-day blitz. When we first started out, that was 67 of you that was on there the first week. The second week, it dwindled down to 50 and 40. Some of you had gave up after 1 week. The third week, it got down even smaller, and then it started coming back again. Some of you couldn't do 3 weeks, but you want to get to 10,000 a month. Some of y'all couldn't do 33 days, and you want to get to 20,000 a month in your business. All we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, this is network marketing, not net wish marketing. And the only time success comes before work is in a dictionary. Here's my promise to you today. Sacrifice and struggle will come before you ever become successful. And yes, that's how it appears in a dictionary. In my first gold and silver company, I got up to 50,000 a month after 2.5 years of being that company before they went out of business. Okay. But I got my notes from that first company. And after 1.5 years in that company, I got up to 30,000 a month. And I had a conversation with my leaders. Here are my notes. I had a conversation with my leaders after I got to 30,000 a month, because there was many of them. I mean, I had a lot of haters. I had a lot of naysayers. And these were people I was working with. And I used to wonder, why do people hate? Why do people naysay? And if you're a leader, ladies and gentlemen, here's the reason why you're going to receive a whole lot more criticism. You're going to receive a whole lot more hating than anybody else, because you're out front. You're an easy target. If you're a leader, you are out front. So you are an easy target. So just understand there's certain things. When you get to 10,000 a month, there are certain things that come with the territory. When you get to 20,000 a month, there are certain things that come with the territory. It's no time to complain. That comes with the territory. Millionaires, they deal with bigger problems than thousandaires do. That's just the way it is. But I'm going to share with you guys the conversation I had with my team. We built a team of about 6,100 in 2.5 years, and it got up to 50,000 a month before that company went out of business. But we had a conversation with them because probably one of the most offensive terms you could say to me, and for lack of a better word, it pisses me off, is that when people see the success that you're having and they say, you know what, he got lucky. And here's the conversation I had with my team back then, and it still applies today. You see, I let them know. See, listen, there are some uninformed people in our profession who think they can earn without effort. We are not aware of any top earner in any network marketing company who has not worked his or her face off and their assets off in order to have their awesome result. Any ad that says make money with no sponsoring, no recruiting, no selling required is way off. You need to discard anybody that says that. When you start out in this space of network marketing, people will say you're crazy. But when you make it, they will use a nasty term and say, you know what? He or she got lucky. They'll say stuff like, must be nice. I want to have your lifestyle. I'm so jealous. You must have got in early, whatever the case may be. I mean, and here was my story. Here's the conversation I had with my leaders at that time. I said, last year, here's exactly what I did to get to 30,000 a month after 1.5 years in that first company. I said, last year, to get to 30,000 a month, I flew over 100,000 miles. I drove my vehicle for an entire year, 1,000 miles a week, building my local market to Austin, Texas, San Antonio. I was doing meetings, coming back home at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up the next day and doing it all over again. Over 1,000 miles a week for an entire year. I mean, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. I did meetings across the country from the East Coast to the West Coast multiple times. I sent my mom a gift for her birthday. I sent my dad a gift for his birthday because I was out of the state during that time. I mean, I sent a card to my dad because I was out of the state doing meetings, building my business. I missed my kids' birthday parties. I endured, my wife dealt with cancer during that time. And I thank God, that God blessed her to get through that because I didn't want to miss a moment of her life. But I went through all of that stuff and I sacrificed relationships. And you ask the question, why? Because every movement needs leaders. Every war needs generals on the front line showing the path to victory. Every revolution has to have that one nutcase. And that's what I call them. I was that one nutcase, obsessed, out of control, loud, aggressive individual leading the way to success. I've gone hard. I'm going harder. I've worked a lot. And guess what? I'm going to work more. When you work at your play, you never work another day in your life. I've sacrificed. Guess what? I'm going to sacrifice even more. I've traveled a lot. Guess what? I'm getting ready to travel even more. Here in 7K Metals, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want you to understand. Here's to the leaders that are here right now today. Here's the link. For those of you who want massive success and victory, if you don't step up, yes, you, Mr. I think I've made it. You, Mrs. I think I deserve to relax. You, Mr. I think I can be a manager now and kick back and let everybody else do the work. I mean, and I paid my dues. Yes, if you, Mr. So-and-so, if you, Sister So-and-so, don't step up, you're going to be left behind. People can say whatever the Sam Hill they want to say about me, about the success we're having, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing they'll never be able to say in truth is that he got lucky. And I want you to understand, you get to 5,000 a month in 7K Metals, I promise you, you were not lucky. You get to 10,000 a month in 7K Mellows, newsflash, you did not get lucky. Mr. Ray Patterson in that financial arena, he didn't become a multi-millionaire because he got lucky. He didn't inherit nothing. He didn't have a multi-millionaire father or grandfather. He put his head down, he went to work. And for that reason, he's enjoying a lifestyle that most people dream about. So if you want to know what it takes, ladies and gentlemen, it has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with your will. So for those of you who want to get to that 10,000 a month and you're willing to pay the price, I say welcome to the club. For those of you who want to get to that 20,000 a month and you're willing to pay the price, I say welcome to the club. For those of you like myself that want to get to 50,000 a month in 7K Mellows, I say welcome to the club. If you want to know what is it going to take, it's going to take you working your face off. It's going to take you making sacrifice. It's going to take you doing the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow that others won't have. See, a lot of folks, they want to know all the ins and outs and the scripts and everything else. Now, I mean, here's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have a heart, and you got to have that mentality, I'm going to do whatever it takes. See, I know you have the talent to succeed. The question is today, for every last one of you on here, do you have the guts to fail? So to end the call today, and I want to share with you guys, one of my favorite motivational quotes is entitled, "Don't You Quit." When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learn. And many a fella turns about when he might have won had he just stuck it out. Don't give up, though. The pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the struggler is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often that struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the night came down how close he was to that golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, that silver tint in the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every one of you. And you know what? There's nothing anybody can do about that. I'm looking forward to seeing at least 5,000 people at our next international convention. I'm looking forward to seeing at least 500 of you guys on the cruise there in January so we can spend some time together. We can work hard, play hard, the whole 9 yards. But let's change some lives for the better. Let's go out there because the world needs what we have, ladies and gentlemen. The world needs what we have. So let's go out there. Let's stop the politicking. Let's stop playing games. And let's go out there and change some lives for the better. So unless someone has a question or anything else, we're going to end it today. So we went a little over, we're about 15 minutes over. So unless somebody has a question, we're going to end it today. But looking at the report this morning, there are 1,000 of you that with a little bit more effort, you can make an extra 500. There are 1,000 of you that with a little bit more effort, you can make an extra 1,000, 2,000, and even up to 12,500 this week. So let's go out there and change the world. And as Eric Warren would oftentimes say, it is a stone cold fact that we have a better way. Now, let's go out there and change the world. Everyone have a great evening. Let's finish strong. God bless. We'll see you guys over the top. Take care.